Excuse me, we're trying to record here.
Hey, sorry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose with me, Dr. Essa. It's episode 2, and today we're going to be discussing protection. Is it necessary or not? Already, as I anticipated, people have been asking me, yeah, so if I do it with a mask on, is it safe? I'm like, no, bruh. That's just to protect the lady from how ugly you are. That's not going to protect you from our current pandemic, COVID-19. I like that. I like that term. Huh? How casually people have just started calling it by its real name, COVID-19, because the coronavirus is actually a group of viruses. It's not a real. It's not a real disease that we're facing currently. But COVID-19 is. So in today's podcast episode, we are going to be discussing protection, the current craze over face masks and gloves. So, firstly, why are people wearing protective equipment? I think it's number one, fear. People are scared. And what does fear lead to? Paranoia. Now people are buying gloves, masks for their use in their personal lives, when they're at home, when they're out shopping, doing their chores. This was all obviously before the lockdown, but people are still using them, and people have even stockpiled on masks and gloves, which I'll discuss why that's problematic a bit later. But the most important reason I think why people are doing this is because human beings instinctively have this will to survive. We are people that are, well, not, I mean, we're part of the animal kingdom as well, but human beings are very, very instinctive when it comes to survival. And, you know, thousands of years ago, it might have been fire or hunting to survive. Now we're stockpiling. That's what we've chosen to do. So I'm going to go through gloves first. I'm going to talk about gloves, and I'm going to chat to you guys a little bit about the research I've done and from my own personal knowledge. So you get two main broad categories of gloves. You get sterile and non-sterile gloves. Of the two, you have nitrile or latex, which is non-sterile. Nitrile gloves are generally used for people with latex allergies. So if you've got a latex allergy, most likely you're going to be using a nitrile glove. But if you have no problems, you're going to be using latex. Then you've got your sterile gloves, which doctors generally use when they are performing a procedure which requires it to be done under sterile conditions. So any operation, anything simple like even just incising and draining an abscess or lancing a boil. Generally, you'd use sterile gloves to make sure that you don't infect the other person with whatever bacteria is currently on your hands. Now, obviously, there is going to be a difference in price between the non-sterile and the sterile. So you've got a price difference of almost 400%. In South Africa, nitrile or latex gloves cost about 40 cents, whereas sterile gloves can cost you anywhere between 160 to up to 2 rand per set of sterile gloves. Now, the purpose of any glove is, one, to protect yourself from whatever liquids, contaminants your patient may have, and also to protect them from whatever you might have on your hands. So that's why it baffles me, firstly, why people would even think of buying or using sterile gloves. Why would you use sterile gloves? They cost 4 times more, and in I don't know, in current times, probably that price has been inflated like 10 times. So you're buying a really expensive glove for no reason. Absolutely no reason. Then on the other hand, you've got the cheaper gloves, which most people are probably using. I've seen the blue nitrile gloves. I've seen people wearing latex gloves to try and protect themselves from the coronavirus or COVID-19. But the truth is, you're wearing these gloves all day long, touching your body, you're touching other people, touching groceries, handles of doors, your steering wheel, and now you think you're safe because you've got these magical gloves on. However, the moment you touch your face with that glove, whatever's on that glove is going into your nose. And you can't wash gloves. There's no way you're going to be able to wash gloves. So those gloves are going to remain dirty, and you're going to contaminate other things without the opportunity for you to clean them. And most people are not using a glove for one purpose and then throwing it away. So that's not the problem. Now, gloves are designed to be single use only. They're not meant to be used 100 times. That's not what it should be used for. You're not supposed to use it throughout your daily routine and throughout your daily activities. That is the problem. So let's talk quickly about masks. Now, I've seen a whole lot of masks being advertised and sold online, on Facebook. People selling scuba masks, people selling one-ply masks, two-ply masks, three-ply masks. I don't know what type of masks these are. Probably, I don't. Is it toilet paper? Are you putting? I don't understand the two-ply, three-ply, but I can tell you about the masks I know about. So you get two types of main masks: surgical mask and the N95 mask, which some people are even referring to it as the N95 surgical mask. Okay, let's just clarify that. The N95 mask is a specific mask designed to protect you from really microparticles. So basically, every N95 mask prevents 95% of particles that are 0.3 microns. 0.3. So if you have the coronavirus or COVID-19 and you cough on someone, it lands on that mask, the chances are that that virus will still penetrate through. In a study that was done this year in China in March, which was published later on, actually showed that there's very little significance in protection between the surgical mask and the N95 mask. The N95 mask is commonly used by doctors to prevent themselves from catching TB. If you're working in a unit which has a lot of patients with TB, generally you'd wear that mask. Now, a surgical mask is used specifically when performing a surgical operation, and that is to protect the patient from whatever the doctor has in his chest or in his nose from exiting and landing inside the person's abdomen or wherever you're operating on. It's not really to prevent, well, there are cases where you have splash and whatever, and blood could squirt into your face or eyes or anything. But yes, that would protect you from whatever they have. But the patient is asleep. They're not coughing on you. So essentially, the surgical mask is to protect you from large droplets. So unless somebody is spraying while speaking to you, like full on just, this is a special occasion. This is a precarious situation we find ourselves in. And he's one of those guys with a lisp spraying all over your face. It's highly unlikely that you're going to catch COVID-19. If you, well, actually, it is pretty likely that you're going to catch it, unfortunately. Because that mask is not going to do anything. Even the N95 mask does not protect you from microparticles like COVID-19 or even influenza or swine flu. They've done multiple tests over the last couple of years because there's not enough information now currently about COVID-19. They're not exactly taking patients out of their beds and getting them to cough on each other to make sure that these masks work effectively. So obviously, I'm sure you know the surgical masks are much cheaper, and that's why a lot of people are using it. And that brings me to my final point. Currently, in South Africa and in the world, there is a shortage of protective equipment. Doctors are running out of gloves. Doctors are running out of masks, even gowns, even visors to protect their eyes. Because remember, there's 5 main entry points. 1, 2, 4, 5. That's the only place COVID-19 enters, not anywhere else. And so if doctors don't have these supplies because they're being bought in large quantities by the public, then I'm afraid we're going to have a very serious problem. Once doctors start getting infected because of their lack of equipment, they're going to all have to sit at home under quarantine for 14 days. And then who's going to take care of the patients? You? Who? I don't know. So look, as safe as you feel with your gloves and your mask, it's not a good idea. They're expensive now. It offers very little protection. Most people don't know how to use the N95 mask even properly. And currently, healthcare professionals only are using those masks when they are coming in direct contact with a COVID-19 suspected or confirmed case, and they are doing that testing for COVID-19. So it's not even just for protection generally. Now, the problem is people are buying a whole lot of these, taking them off the market. Doctors are running out. Friends of mine at Baragwanath and Joburg Gen are now struggling every single day to protect themselves from something that could be potentially lethal to them and their families. So don't do it. I've seen people like using it recklessly, man. I saw a lady in traffic driving with her gloves on, which she's probably worn from the time she's left home, touched her dog, her kids, everyone, held onto that steering wheel, and her surgical mask was hanging from the rearview mirror like an accessory. Come on now, man. I don't understand it. I don't. And so I have my solution for all you people that want to feel like they protected themselves. Because there is one benefit, or one upside to wearing masks. In South Korea, it proved to be quite effective. They've been wearing masks for years. I'm sure if you've traveled overseas, you've probably seen an Asian person wearing a mask. And it is effective in that it serves as a reminder not to touch your face. So having a mask on may not protect you, but it may prevent you from using your dirty gloves to touch your face, or your dirty hands that you're not washing to touch your face. It may serve as a reminder. But if you want something to remind you not to touch your face, I've got a solution for you. Why don't you just take a pair of your freshest or not so freshest underpants and put it on your head? So it serves, one, as a reminder not to touch your face, and also it serves as a reminder to other people that you look like an idiot and you stink and they shouldn't stand anywhere near you. And if you want gloves, I've also got a solution for that. Wear socks on your hands. Wear socks on your hands. It acts exactly the same as this brief is not doing me justice. I should have worn a fresh one. But it's fine. I want to show you guys how stupid you look. Or you can wear socks on your hands, and then there's no way you're going to be touching your face in public looking like this. I will guarantee you that. And that's my suggestion for you all today with regards to protective gear. And now I'll be taking whatever questions you guys have for me on this topic, or whatever else you guys want to discuss for the future. That's it from me, Dr Essa, on this episode of The Daily Dose. Tune in tomorrow at 9 p.m. where we'll be recording live again And you can follow us on social media. That's Daily Dose with Dr. Essa. You can watch these videos on YouTube. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and SoundCloud. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys here tomorrow. Bye.